I wanted to do another video, and this time I wanted to do a French manicure. I feel like the French manicures are so 1990s. Um, they haven't come a long way, so I wanted to change it up a little bit. I will be using the French manicure sets, but I am going to do something a little bit different. Rather than doing just a French tip and then the clear or semi-sheer overlay, I'm actually going to do a glitter. I have done these before, so I'm going to be reopening packages that have already been opened, but I'll show you a little bit, and then you can definitely use this as an inspiration for anything that you want to do French manicure. You can do a traditional French manicure. You can do something different, like I will be doing. When I did this before, I did the white tips with a glitter overlay. And I used Sleet, which is mostly sheer semi-transparent. It's one of the more opaque transparents, if that makes sense. Quite a bit of glitter. It's very light and white, and I really like the look of just white nails. I think that looks really cool. So I did that, and then I did accent nail on my ring fingers with a silver overlay in addition to the glitter and the tip. And I just felt like the silver overlay, which was dripping in diamonds, kind of got lost. So what my plan is to do this time is to put the white tips on and put the glitter overlay, and then on my accent nails I'm going to do just a solid white, so there will be no tip. It'll just be solid white with a solid glitter overlay. So let's get right into it. There have been a number of French manicure sets out, and I really wanted to focus on, at least for this video, focus on what is available right now rather than, what has been available in the past. But I do want to show you what has been available in the past. So they do have two manicures right now. These two. So this is Meet Me in Paris and City of Love, and they have the white tips, which is the shape. They also come with an overlay. So this one, even though it looks like it's a white overlay, it is clear. It looks white because it's on white paper. But so this is a solid white with a sheer, completely clear overlay in the same package. The other one that they did is the same white tip, but it has a beigey kind of overlay. So it tones down the white when you put the overlay over the entire nail, including the tip. It kind of tones that down and makes it a little bit more lighter, flesh colored. Both look really great. But what I'm going to be using is the tips and then not using the overlay at all in the packages. So I will have to, I'm going to use this package, but I will have to get into it because I have used the package before, when I've done this before, so I will need to jump in there and get some more. The nice thing about these is if you're not going to use that overlay in there, if you're going to do a glitter or something else, all the white tips are the same. So as long as you have white tips, they're the same out of everyone, both of these packages. They're the same out of both of these packages, and you can mix and match as you need. Some of the older ones that they did, I did want to just show these. I just think these are so fun. So they did, this one is called Tokyo Twinkle. So it is like Tokyo lights, but, and that would be just a little bit of the tip. And then it's got a clear overlay that you would put over that. So I think that this would be a really fun one to maybe mix up. Maybe if you put the glitter right on the tip and then you had a like Glittersweet or something to cover it, so you'd have a really glittery nail. Another one they did, this one is Ciao Milano. Yeah. So these are definitely older. This is kind of a golden, beigey golden color with a clear overlay. And again, if you'd used this and then used a glitter to put over that, like the glitters, what is that one? Champagne Sugar. That might look really good because it's got gold in it. And I'm going to show some of the other overlays in just a second. And this one is a little bit older. Marceille, Ballet. Don't know if I'm saying that right. But it's again the same white tip, but then the overlay is more of a beigey, I mean a pinky beige. It's very, very sheer light pink, and it's really, really nice. I just haven't used this, and I almost got this more for the overlay than obviously the tips, because you can get the tips anywhere. So these are older sets. These were purchased online, and you can tell because they've got some weird stickers and writing and all kinds of weird stuff on them. So those are available, and I will put in the notes all of the names of all of these, so you can make sure you know which one I was talking about. So since I'm going to be doing that one nail that's 100% white with the glitter overlay, you can use white nails. And this is Swiss and Tell. This is available right now. It's just a flat opaque white. I'm going to try to use one of these tips for it. I don't want to open this package if I just need one nail right now. So I'm going to use one of these tips, and it's just going to cover the whole nail, and I'll have to trim off the edges that don't work correctly. But I just wanted to let you know that if you did want a solid white under glitter or something like that, the Swiss and Tell is a really good one for that. So some of the options for overlays are, I kind of just grabbed a little bit of everything. So when you think of this, this would be really kind of neat if you did a white tip and then one of the glitter dipped, and this is Coming Up Rose Gold. This is another one I've used, the Dripping in Diamonds, and then you had the glitter maybe sheer moving up towards the white tip, and then the white tip was kind of finishing it off. That would look really cool. I haven't done the glitter dip. I did do the glitter dipped for that accent nail, and I had the glitter. That's exactly what I did, but I wasn't a big fan. This is another glitter dip. This is called Cannes-fetti. This one is not available right now, but the other two are. I believe this one is still available too. Less bitter, more glitter. This would be a really neat one because it is very sheer, but it does have quite a bit of glitter in it. So I would definitely use that. And then if you wanted to go with something that was a little bit more like that Ballet French Manicure, the petite that's out that is tiny and shiny, and I believe this is retiring, and I would get this if you don't have it. It is mostly sheer, but it's got a nice amount of pink and lasery glitter in it. It is just shimmery and beautiful, and if you put it over anything, especially something darker, that glitter really, really pops. It is mostly sheer, so you're not going to get a lot of influence of color. Another one, this is Pink Peppercorn. I love this one. I use this a lot. So this would be a good one to go with the white tips. These are not glitter dipped. This is just a solid, well, it's not solid. It's a completely sheer, clear strip with a good amount of real shimmery glitter on it. They did kind of a bunch of these overlays, and I picked up all of them. This is Candied Lavender. It's a lavender and gold. It's really pretty. This one was out just a little while ago. This is Wannabe. It's mostly sheer. It's got a little bit of pink. It's very dainty and delicate, more delicate than the petite. But you can see they're both very similar, and they would be just gorgeous over the white tips. This one is called Most Definitely. This is another one they did with the 80s release. Really beautiful aquas and a little bit of silver in there. This one is Glittersweet. This is one of my most favorites. I have about 4 or 5 packages of this because I put this on everything. Pretty much everything needs at least a little bit of glitter, even if it's a solid blue or some other color. I always put a little bit of glitter on it. So I have tons of this on hand, so I can always go back to it. And if you want something sheer and only a little bit of glittery, this would be the best choice for sure. Another one, this is the Champagne Sugar. Yeah, I have a couple of these. This is the gold with a little bit of the rainbow laser glitter in it, but this gold is great. I've used this over golds. I've used it over yellows. It's just a really sheer, nice, and it would be a great option as well. If you want to do something besides glitter, they've done a number of overlays, especially recently. They keep coming out with really fun overlays. So this is a completely sheer. This one's a little bit older. It's completely sheer, and then it has these palm fronds. This is Palm Before the Storm. Again, you know, this is something I picked up on eBay because it's got a weird sticker on it, but you can find this. And they've done a couple of other ones. This one was just retired. This one was out just recently. Bandana Republic would be cute. I would love to do leopard. These again are 100% sheer. They look like they're white, but they're not. It's the white paper backing that makes them appear white. But I mean, can you imagine leopard? That would be so cute. So this is called Spot On. And then this is the one that I'm actually going to be using. And you can see I've definitely used this before. So this is Home Sleet Home. And I will be dipping into this package and using what I can, but I already know I've used the thumb, so I'll definitely have to be getting into this package. And so that's the ones that I'm going to use. So let's grab my manicures, my French manicures. So let's open this up. Since these two have been opened and we know what they look like on the inside, let's open one of these. So these manicures, French manicures, are unique on the site, and they are 2 for 1. 2 for 1, is that correct? I think so. Buy one, get one. And so you can pick a couple of these up, and I think they're $14 right now each. So when you open them, they come with the clear overlay, clear as day, and you can buy clear as day separately. If you just need clear overlay, you can buy clear as day by itself, and then it also comes with the shaped tip. Now the problem is you need so little of this tip that you end up wasting a huge amount. If you can, I mean, if you're skilled enough, I guess you could try to trim new cutouts like halfway through here. That probably is a great idea. I just don't do that. I'm skilled, but not that skilled. And then it comes with your typical nail file, which I don't prefer, and a alcohol prep pad. So you will need several of these. So with this application, I'll put the tips on, and then so I'll probably put on the 3 fingers first and complete those 3, and then come back and do the last 2, because these uses your tools quite a bit. So I do like to hit it with the alcohol prep pad in between applications. So if I put something on, I'll hit it with the pad to kind of seal that one down, and then I'll put whatever overlay is over it. So I think I'll do the first 3 nails and then get those completed, sealed, and then come back and do my first 2 fingers. So I'll keep that pad. So let's open back up this guy. And you can see I've used pretty much everything in here. That's okay. Even if they're too big, they're pretty much all the exact same curvature. So if you need, I'm gonna use the rest of these. I'm gonna use as many of these as I can, and only a couple of the other ones. And then you can see I didn't use any of the clear overlays, so we're gonna save those babies for later. So let's start by getting our 2 nails out, and then I'll do the overlays afterwards. So let's open this up. And like I said, you pretty much, you don't get to use, and my nails are normally fairly short, natural nails, and I don't get the chance to use this on more than 1 nail because I really like this. You can, use one to trace maybe and then cut. But yeah, it is the same, pretty much the same curve, not quite. I imagine if you go something really big and really small, it's not going to be, but from the center, it's pretty much the same curve. It's close. So these are the smallest ones I have. I'll go pinky on these 2. Oh, look at that. Okay, well these 2 match, so these can be first finger. These are not going to be wide enough for my thumb. I don't believe. It is so close. But it's a little short, so I will use these two on my ring finger. I wonder why I only have, I don't remember what happened, why I only have one little guy left. But let's open up this second package and we'll pull out the rest that I need. So I know I will use 2 pinkies and 2 thumbs, and either one of these. Let's go this one, ring finger. Actually, that's the one I used before, so that's what I had extra from 4. So that will be ring. Let me just measure real quick. I may actually switch a couple of those. My ring finger and my first finger are almost exactly the same. So I'm going to throw out the packaging from one of these sets, and I'll just keep everything that's left over from both sets in one package. All right, let me see the difference between these two. They're very, very close in width. Very, very close. And so I will use the smaller one actually on my first finger, bigger one on the ring finger, but again, my 2 fingers are very close. So you would, if you're opening a brand new package, you'll be able to, you know, get the right ones across, but I'm trying to reuse what's left over. So these will be my 5 fingers. And let's open this guy up and see what's left in here. I have used this, I think, even more than once. Oh, maybe just once. The nice thing about this too is it seems like if you were getting, if people were sending you the twosies, I have about 1.5 million of these as twosies. So I can definitely dip into that little twosie pile as needed. So let's see what's in here. I know that's the thumb, or the one next to the thumb, and that's too small for my thumb. But it looks like I might have used one somewhere. All right, let's see what matches up. Yeah, very odd array of sizes. So these two will work for this finger. These two match, or is it this one? Nope, it's this one. These two match. I think I can get away. Nope. Let's not push it. I like them to be too wide if possible. Too narrow never works out well for me. So I'm going to keep these guys aside and I'll dip into that second package. Oops. Hit my light. So these guys open a little bit different direction. This way. Here's a prep pad, and these ones, I hate these packaging because they always have all that gummy, sticky, yucky stuff. Okay. So yeah, again, I always pull this stuff off because it just seems like everything sticks to it. All right, so I know I need my thumb here. And this is another one. I have several of these packages. I always buy this. If I'm doing the, you know, buy 3, get 1, and there's 3 that I want, but there isn't a 4th one that I want, I'll pick up something like this because I know that I'm going to use a ton of it. So that will be my thumb. This guy is my middle finger. And these are my pinkies. So again, everything that's left over, I will, where did I put those? Here. So I'll just stick everything back in this one package. If I had any twosies left over, I would use that. The twosies are also really great if you get a couple of them that match. Depending on the size of your toenails, mine are very short and not very wide, and you can use little pieces of all of these on your toenails. So I can take like the one big out of here for my big toe, and then all of the rest of my toes can be done with 1 or 2 packs of the twosies. So, okay. So these will be my nails. And if you've seen my videos before, you know I like to lay everything out, get everything set and ready. I am going to push my cuticles back. I haven't done that really quick. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I will come back in just 1 second. So actually, let me talk about it while I'm doing it before I finish. So with your cuticles, you really want to get in here and make sure that if you've got anything that's a little kind of flaky, your cuticle is growing up onto your nail, you want to get in really, really close. For me, my fingernails are the best tool for that. And scrape along those edges and just kind of pull out or off everything. Pushing your cuticles back is nice, but there tends to be, at least for me, a bit of that cuticle that kind of grows on my nail like skin. So it is really a matter of not pushing that down and away off my nail. It's kind of cleaning it and picking it off. So I'm trying to do this without, wrecking anything. I have already filed my nails and buffed them, trimmed them. They are pretty short, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. So I want to get these cuticles cleaned up, and then I'm going to clean my nails with the alcohol, and then we'll apply. So for me, because French manicure I think was so popular, and was it the 90s, maybe 2000s, everybody everywhere had French manicure, everything, and I think we all kind of got sick of it. So that's what I like about this, is you can still do it, and I love the look of it. I think it's a very classic kind of look, but it's just, if you're doing it like it was done, it's just been done before, So I really like to mix it up and do something different. And of course, anywhere that I can put glitter on anything, I'm going to. So the other thing I really think is good about these, about doing a French manicure, is having your nails not really, really long. I actually like it when my nails are short with a French manicure, not too short. And I'll talk about it when I kind of get in here and, start working on each of these nails individually. But I really do like shorter nails, or a shorter application. I think if you have a really long nail and you put a lot of white at the end of it, especially if it's not proportionate, if you end up with more white than, nail bed behind it, I just don't like that. For me, it's a preference thing, I know, but it's not what I like. So again, my nails are very short. Those cuticles are pretty clean. And, I did break this one, so I don't like it when it's this short, when you can see the top of your finger behind your nail. So there's almost no white showing, where the nail has grown out. So we're going to have to cheat a little bit and stick the white tip back a little bit. So it'll be a tiny little sliver of white tip on there. But honestly, it looks great. It looks fine. So anyways, let's jump in then. So those are ready. I'm going to grab a couple of these. Let's clean nails. So the first step is to then, after you've pushed those cuticles back, everything's filed and ready to go, you want to hit it with an alcohol pad. And I just washed my hands before I started this. Actually, I showered right before that too. So my nails are about as clean as they're going to be. There's nothing under them. There's no lotion on them, nothing. They're as clean as they're going to get. So I really don't like, using lotion and stuff like that anyways. But my nails are about as clean and as dry as they're going to be. But doing this allows you to get that little bit of natural oil that comes through. And of course, these are my natural nails. If you have acrylics or gels or dips or anything else like that, you're going to have, you already have a barrier. You don't necessarily have to use the alcohol because you have a barrier and your natural nail is sort of already sealed by whatever's sitting on top of it. So I usually use 2 pads because by the time I get to the end of the pinky, this one's dry. Let's try another one. So this is one of the ones I bought from Amazon. Different type of pad. Same thing, same alcohol, different pad. So, yeah, you just really want them really, 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 really clean. The tips, or the nail polish strips are going to stick to only your nails, nothing else. They don't stick to skin. They might initially, but they won't permanently. And you want those, so you just want your nails to be clean, and the alcohol evaporates away almost immediately. So I now am ready to begin. So like I said, I'm going to do these 3, get them sealed, get them finished, finalized, and then I will move on to my first 2. So little teeny tiny tips. So again, when you do these, you want to kind of follow where your nail is grown out, what the white part of your nail is. The whites of my nails are pretty short. So, or they're not, yeah. So my nails are trimmed pretty short right now, and that's fine. You don't have to have long white parts showing. So I will cheat a little. I will put this down a little bit further past my, where the white of my nail is showing. And that is great. That should look fine. So I'm going to do the first 3 nails again with the white tips, and then I'll seal those, and then I'll come and do the overlays afterwards. So I just peeled off that clear overlay strip, and then these peel off of the paper backing. You see it's fairly opaque white, and this requires a little bit defter touch, I think, because you want to get it right. So I'm going to come in, and what I'm looking at right now is sort of the curve of my finger, not my nail, my finger, and I want to just make sure I sort of follow that curve and, back it down just a little ways. So I think this looks perfect. So this, it's down a little bit further on the white than the white was on my nail, but, and it's a little short on that side, but that's okay. So that's pretty much it. Stick that guy down. I'm going to use my nail file to trim it back. And I'm just gently pulling the nail file away from my nail. Just kind of to loosen and have that break off. So that is it. Easy peasy. All right. Let's keep going. I'll do the other side. So here again, the clear little protective overlay strip with lots of static electricity. And sometimes I have to say, I had somebody leave a comment on one of my other videos, and they said they had the hardest time peeling off the strip from the paper backing. They couldn't get it off. And I hadn't run across that yet, except for the last set of nails I did, which was the Independence Day, themed nails. I'll put a link to my Instagram in the notes so you can see, the other nails I've done that I haven't filmed. But I had the exact same thing. I had the thing where I could not get it, and if I tried to peel it off, it would just tear and stretch, and it was a mess. So the only way that I could actually pull it off was to leave the clear little overlay on and peel the strip and the overlay off of the paper and put that on my nail, and then try to peel off that overlay without ruining it. It did have a really pretty design. It was a firework design. It was like bursting fireworks, and it was really pretty, but it just, oh my goodness, I ruined several nails just trying to get them off. Oops. No. Yeah, and with these they can stretch out of curve. They'll be a little weird. So see, now if you don't hit it down straight, that's the other problem, because you know, if you get it kind of going downhill one side, which I just did, and it's still kind of doing that, but I don't want to peel it off again because I'll end up ruining it. But there you go. My little nail is kind of the hardest one to see. I'll grab, when I do one of the other ones, I'll do it a little closer in focus. Yeah, it's a shame that you end up with so much wasted because that white is really kind of pretty. Okay, so this next nail is the one I'm going to do 100% white. So again, if you were going to use Swiss and Tell, that would be best because, you know, it has the shape of the bed of your nail. But these guys, I'm just going to push this all the way down here, make the whole nail white, and then I'll trim off what is extra. So hopefully this will look okay. But it also shows you if you end up with strips that are too wide, or obviously this is not even curving the right direction, that's okay. These are, you can put these things on sideways, you can go this way, you can do anything you need just to get that on there, and then you can trim off using the little cuticle sticks. So I'm going to put this pretty far back on my nail. I want to get over that cuticle. I want to make sure the sides, is that good? Yes. Okay. So there you go. One side is good right here near the front or the top. You can see my cuticle all the way around, and then this side's a little bit too wide, but that's okay, and then I'll trim off the top. So my two sticks I use all the time are these two. This is a rubber tipped smoother cuticle stick and an angled wooden cuticle stick. So first I will go with this guy, and I'll kind of use it to push my cuticle back a little ways and try to get more of that strip to stick to a little bit more nail. And once I get stuck on as much as I can, then I'll come back in with the cuticle stick and the wooden one and trim. So that's it. And you can kind of really, especially here at the bottom, push this back, and it's starting to tear already, but yeah, you can kind of push this back and use the stick to trim while you're pushing. So it is already coming apart right here, and that's perfect. Tear it. It's really stuck to my cuticle here. And as you go along the edge of your nail, you want to just push it till it breaks. You don't want to drag this before you've got a nice clean cut, because you will pull something off the nail and maybe tear it across. I have used strips. I have patched strips before using little pieces that I've pulled off. You can get by with, you know, if you end up with something, the tip got pulled off weird and you needed to put another little piece down, you can do that. It will be a little more bulky, but it won't show too terribly much, especially if it's a glitter. So the nice thing about this too is that even if I screwed up this white, the glitter overlay that I'm putting over is not quite as sheer as some of the others. It's a more opaque glitter. So, you know, if I end up with kind of a jagged edge along here or something that looks a little bit weird, you know, if one of this, like this edge is not perfect, pretty close, but if it's not perfect, then I can use the glitter to kind of hide that. That's the nice thing about the glitter overlays is even more than the clear overlays, unless the clear overlay has a design, you can get away with a lot, which is really kind of nice. You don't have to worry about being perfect. Let's get this guy pulled off my skin. Okay. you go. That worked. White nail. Not using the Swiss and Tell white. Fun. Okay. I'll keep going with the other one then. I had another thought. I'll have to think of what that was. Oh, now I do. I'll show you in just 1 second. It's not straight. Okay, so I talked a little bit about buffing, and it's really, I don't know if you can see it, but you'll see some kind of vertical ridges in my nails. And I buff them out pretty well. I know that I'm putting glitter over this, and once you put glitter on, you can't see those ridges at all. But they are there. So if you end up with ridges in your nails, and you don't like how those kind of vertical lines are showing, get a buffer and buff those out before you do your nails. And that will buff those ridges out. The buffers should be able to take those down. So again, if you're doing a glitter or a glitter overlay, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see them really at all. It's only when you do a solid, either a cream or a shimmer, that those ridges can tend to show. If they don't bother you, then don't worry about it. But if you want something smoother, you're going to want to hit those with a buffer pretty significantly to make sure that they're smooth before you put your nails on, before you put the strips on. Again, if you have acrylics or gels or something like that, that's probably already been done for you, or it's, you know, you've done it if you've done it yourself. So, oops. See, it's tearing a little bit weird. I'm not going to worry about it because I am putting that glitter overlay, but yeah, I just got to be really careful. The shears, not the shears, I'm sorry, the creams like this is, tend to be a little bit more fragile, so you can end up with a little edge like that where I kind of pulled it a little too hard and I have a little bit exposed there. That glitter overlay is going to completely hide that, so I'm not going to worry about it. But if I was just going to do a white nail and not put anything over it, I would probably be peeling this off and grabbing another one, or I would have been more careful in the first place. Yeah, so this is probably the hardest nail because I'm using a nail that's the wrong shape, and you know, the tips, pretty much all you have to do is, you know, the white tips, all you have to do is just take the edge off. You don't have to hopefully worry about the sides or, you know, the cuticles or anything like that. So this one is the one nail that's going to take the most time, but then, you know, the rest should go pretty quickly because you're just putting on that little tip. Okay, don't tear. Ooh. Don't tear. All right, let's use the file to clean this. I missed a little. No, I think I did okay. Okay, so there you go. White nail, next to it, white tip, a little crooked. It's going to be okay. All right, on to the next, which is the middle finger. This guy looks a little too wide. Yeah, because I had to use the wrong one. That's okay. So this is when you end up using something that's too wide. That's okay. So again, I'm shading that. You know, I don't have a whole lot of white showing, so I'm shading that white just a little bit more, just to give myself maybe 1/8 of an inch instead of a 1/16. Come down to the edges, a little crooked. Careful when you stick it down. You stick it down too hard, it's gonna stay. Yeah, so obviously you can reposition these a couple of times. They do really, really good about, if you don't push them down too hard, pulling them back up. All right, it's a little crooked. I think the thing is the wrong shape now. Out of shape. So we'll pull that down. They are a little bit stretchy. You can pull them a little bit in other directions. This is a little far down, and the curve is a little bit much, but again, we're going for effect. So I'm going to use just my nail to trim that edge. Trim this edge. And then nail file to get the top. And you can use your nail to pinch off the top as well, just to kind of, you know, clean this and pinch this off. I know a lot of people do that. For me, I've torn it. I just don't feel like I ever get a really clean edge. I really like what the nail file does. The nail file is just really, you know, clean. So not too bad. Do the other one. So the other thing that's wrong with me right now is that I've had a bunch of caffeine. So I don't recommend doing this if you just had a bunch of coffee or whatever, Red Bull or whatever, because it's not as easy when you're a little shaky. So again, it's like not going, it's hard to get them even right to left. But, and also, I also know that my nails are not symmetrical, or at least the way that I file them isn't always perfectly symmetrical. So I might leave one edge a little bit longer. And especially if you do a lot of writing, you know, with pencils, pens, you know, if you're right-handed, a lot of times your nails on that hand that you write with a lot, you know, whatever it is, like this, all these nails that are kind of squished down against the surface of, you know, your writing pad or your table or whatever, they can kind of end up a little misshapen. So don't, unless you're doing acrylics where, you know, you have the option to make perfect nails, natural nails are not necessarily perfect or symmetrical. That's okay. We're going to do the best we can anyways. Okay, so I've done the first three. Yeah, what? Let's just go. I'll just keep going. I was going to seal these down, do the overlays, but I think what I'll do is just keep going because it should, the rest should be okay. This one should fit just perfectly. So maybe I'll hold out and do the thumbs last. Let's just see how this goes. And you can see here the white on my nail is very short. So we're just going to cheat this down a little bit. It would be better if my nails were just maybe a week longer of growth, maybe not even a whole week, but that's okay. You can see where you can get by doing a French manicure even if your nails are very short. So you don't have to have really long nails for a French manicure. And like I said, I kind of like it when it's a little, your nails are a little bit shorter. I don't like a lot of the white. Don't go weird. Okay. Allergies are making my eyes water. Okay. The other nail here. Other first finger. You can see how much quicker they go when you aren't bothering with, you know, cuticles and getting all that stuff correct. That was a little crooked. Ah, too far back. One more try. Also too far back, but we're stuck now. So there we go. Yeah, if you do give yourself a little bit more white, you know, if you're trying to judge the white by where the end of your finger is and you give yourself a little bit too much white, you know, I'm going to be wearing these for the next week or two. So it's actually going to kind of work out in my favor that if I do shade them a little bit too far down, because I do want to wear these for a little bit, more than a week if I can. So, you know, as it grows out, that white tip will get closer and closer to the edge of my finger, and it'll look better. It'll look right. All right. Kind of weird. Yeah, that's too much. Oh, well. I could file that down a little bit, I guess. File the tip down so it's a little shorter. But I could also peel it off, but no, we're going to leave it. All right, last guy for the French tips. Now, I know that this is a little bit too wide already, but I know the next one down is too narrow, and that's the one I had to use on my middle finger. So I just want to get this stuck down, and I'm just going to have to trim the sides, which is fine. So let me use this. Stick that down real good on the edges or the sides, and then pretty much clean these off with a nail file. And of course, because I'm doing the overlay, I'm going to hit these again with the nail file again. So I just want them to be clean. I don't want to over file anything or overdo anything. Okay. Crooked too. Getting real good at that crooked thing, aren't I? Jeez. Oh well. Yeah, like I said, the overlay saves everything. So they're going to look great when they're done. And, you know, other than being a little crooked and a little weird, that's okay. You can always peel them off, use another set, or just kind of go with it and don't worry about it. Which is kind of what I do. I'm going more for effect than anything else. But, I mean, it's important to do, you know, not to screw up totally, but you can see if it's not perfect, you're still going to be able to get away with it. Yeah, so this is where I'm saying, you know, you use your first couple of fingers as tools. So I have to be really careful pulling this off, that I'm not going to do something to my first finger on the other hand to screw that one up. So do want to be really, really careful when you get to doing your last two fingers, because you use them most as tools to, you know, clean things and pinch things off. So, okay, so tips are on. I'm going to hit these with an alcohol pad to seal them, and then we'll do overlays. So there isn't a whole lot here. I will be hitting it with an alcohol pad at the end again to seal down that overlay. Doing this saturates the nail tip, or saturates the strip, and it causes it to really almost instantly rehydrate and then just stick down. It really activates them in a way to make them so they really, I mean, they're there now. They're there until I use nail polish remover to take them off. So, you know, I just talk a little bit about that squeak. You kind of hear that squeaky sound, and because I've got this whole nail on, you can see that. You want to hear that. You want that sound, and that is just the nail polish itself activating. And tip here is a little jagged, but again, we're going to be able to hide that. Okay, so, oops, hold still, camera. Okay, so tips are on. A little wonky, a little crazy. Who cares? Let's go for the overlay. Now, this is one of my favorite overlays. I just love this so much. It's definitely top 5 of what they've ever released. So I know that my pinky is the wide end of this. The last 2 strips in the set, this one and the one next to it, they are narrower on the top than they are on the bottom. So like if I compare these, you can see that the glittery strip on the edge there is just a little bit wider. So I know that my pinky is this end, and this end is too narrow for the width of my nail. So I always have to use 2 pinky strips. Otherwise, like on these other ones, hopefully, because these are double-ended, they're not like the tips. Hopefully, I'll be able to use 1 strip on 2 nails. You can see how opaque these are, or sheer they are, or lack of sheer they are. I'm not really sure how to put that. Fairly sheer, but also they're like semi-opaque, semi-sheer. So you'll be able to see when I put this on, you'll be able to see that tip through it. So when I put these on, I want to just make sure I line up my cuticle, get the sides right, and squish it on. This one's actually a little bit too narrow. That's okay. The thing with this too, and any overlay, if you put anything over anything else, the one that is already there is almost going to act like a glue. So, you know, before when I was putting the tips on, you see I could peel them off and put them back down again, and I'd get a couple of different tries to get it right. With these overlays, if you stick it down to something, it's stuck. You cannot peel it back off, or you'll peel off whatever's underneath, or you'll peel off part of whatever's underneath. So you will ruin whatever work you've already done. So there's that. Nice and glittery, but you can still see that tip through it. I love that. I think it's just a much different take on the French manicure. I love it. So let's do the other pinky. Yeah, I would definitely try this with the other overlays too, especially some of those nice light pink ones like the Petite, Tiny and Shiny. That one would be difficult because I know there's not a thumb in there that's big enough for my thumb. But, you know, what if you used that as an accent and you used something else as, you know, your overlay? That would be really pretty. So oops, tore it. There you go. That's going to work. Clean this tip up. Now, I'll talk about it, but I'm going to do it off camera. The very last step, well, first, the very last step will be to hit these with the alcohol pad again. The last step after that is to put everything back in its correct packages and reseal those packages with the flat iron. And I'll show you, but I'm not going to do it on camera because I want to make sure I get all the right bits. And, well, maybe I will. Maybe I won't have as many packages half open as I thought. Okay, so this is my ring finger, and this one I'm hoping I can use on 2 fingers if they're short enough. It is a little too wide, so I got a lot left over there, and I have a little pair of scissors here. I'm going to trim that close to my nail and see if I can get by using this on 2 nails. If I can, and it kind of looks like I can. You can also give these a little bit of a tug to lengthen it a tiny bit. But again, like I said, you get one shot. Stick it down and it's there. You don't get to play around a lot. So I did kind of miss a little bit. I've got a little bit over my cuticles, so these ones are going to be a little bit more to clean up, but I'm okay with that. And I really just like the look of white nails. Like I would just do this, a whole set of white nails with a glittery overlay. I love white nails. I think they look really neat. Right now, sometimes I like something else. So when you have an inspiration or you see something you like, you can try to do it. And there'll be different times that you're inspired by different things. So maybe, like I just said, I like the look of white nails with glitter overlay. But maybe in 6 months I won't like that anymore. And I'll like something else. That's kind of the cool part about being creative and, trying new things. The nice thing is that they're always coming out with new sets, and especially this year, they've almost had a banner year of new sets and options coming out. That's so pretty. So, a great place to look if you haven't done it already. You probably have. Like I said, I'll leave the link to my Instagram so you can see what I've done in the past. But I get a lot of inspiration off of Pinterest as well. So I don't know if people are using Pinterest as much as they used to, but you can just put in a search for Color Street nail combos, and you can start to find things. And that's how I found some of my inspirations before that I've done. Actually, this was inspired by something I saw. It was different, but it was not using Color Street. It was just regular nail polish, but it was something very similar. It was acrylic nails, and here, I'll show you a picture. So it looks similar. It's got, it's got the silver. That's kind of what I did. The first time I did this, I wanted that silver on for my accent nail, but then it just ended up being too much, maybe, or the silver didn't really stand out. It wasn't exciting. Maybe if I had left off the Home Sleet Home glitter overlay and just done the dripping in diamonds, it would have been a better effect. I felt like it was kind of that one nail was kind of a fail. But overall, I love this so much that I'm doing it again, and I'm doing it on camera. So I would check out Pinterest, put in Color Street nail combos, and see what pops up. And, a lot of people will list the exact nails that they've used. If they don't, then you can usually kind of figure it out. Or, again, like this set, I picked up inspiration from things that weren't Color Street. So I was able to do something similar, but using Color Street. I didn't need that second nail. We're going to save that one for next time. All right, let's go middle finger. And hopefully I'll be able to use this on 2 nails. I usually can. I do keep my nails pretty short. By the end of 2 weeks when they've grown out, usually quite a bit longer, and I can trim them back down to this length. I am very hard on my nails, really. I live alone, and, so all the taking out of the garbage and loading of the dishwasher and all of the laundry and cleaning house and all that stuff, all of it is my responsibility. So my nails get pretty roughed up. By the time it's 2 weeks, they're chipped, they're grown, they're a little shaggy. So the last set I just took off, they were only on for a week. They were on just through the 4th of July holiday. But yeah, because I'm hard on my nails and my hobbies, also, I use power tools and stuff. So I have a lot of damage that happens to my nails. These strips, especially some of the thicker ones, like the solids, the glitters seem to be really very protective. So at the end of 2 weeks, these should still not look terrible. And of course, anything you put an overlay on, even if you just use a solid and then you use the clear as day as an overlay over that, it will cause that glitter or that strip to stay better looking longer. So I've never really been a huge fan of just doing the clear as day as an overlay over anything. So yeah, I would never opt for it actually. I would probably go to Glittersweet and have a little, in fact I know I would. Not even a question. So I would use Glittersweet to be sort of the sealer. If I needed something to last 2 weeks, I would use Glittersweet to be my clear as day overlay. This one I'm not seeming to get quite as clean, especially around my cuticle, but let's take a look here. The one thing with the glitters too is that when you do start to peel it off, sometimes if a little piece of glitter gets stuck or something, you'll end up with a little bit of a jagged edge that is actually just, especially the big chunky glitters, might be just a piece of glitter. It's not playing nicely. Okay, I'm gonna get these finished up. So I'm getting close. 2 more after this, 2 more strips. And I have noticed too that my nails on both hands are not exactly the same. So something that is like the perfect width, my right hand seems to be a little bit, the nails on my right hand seem to be a little bit bigger, a little bit wider than the nails on my left hand. And I know when you pull a strip off, so I usually always do my left hand first because I'm right-handed. And when you pull a strip off or you cut it, you can tend to stretch it a little bit, so it will be a little tiny bit more narrow, but it just seems like once I've done that, what is on my left hand is too wide, and what is on my right hand, that's the same strip, fits perfectly. So you may end up finding that about yourself. Something, they're not always perfectly symmetrical. Seems like they should be, but DNA does its thing, I guess. So when you finish this, you'll hit it with the alcohol, and then you don't really want to wash your hands for a little while if you can. Once you hit it with the alcohol pad, it does really activate it and seal it down. So once the alcohol evaporates out, which is pretty much instantly, you know, your nails are effectively dry. You know, you're not going to mess them up. But if you can not wash your hands for maybe about 30 minutes, just let them really dry, really cure, that would be the best. So I usually do this, get my makeup on, get all ready to go out the door. I do have plans to head out to dinner with friends, so I will get completely ready and then do my nails and then head out the door. So you can see they are pretty easy to stick down. The more you do this, obviously, the better you're going to get at it. It's just a matter of, practice and forgiving little mistakes. Sometimes you screw up a little, that's okay. Yeah, so this is really what I aim for. I like it a little bit on my cuticle bed right there, even if I have to trim some off. My nails are a lot narrower at the bottom and wider at the top, so usually if I try to get it to fit the width of my nail at the top, it's going to be too wide somewhere else. Some of the strips are shaped, so they're a little bit, they're straight sides, and then there's some that are a little bit more curved to more of a tip. But you'll see the middle strips. So not these two and not these two, but everything else right here. These sizes are all, you know, not the first two or the last two, but everything else is not that far off from one another. They're really pretty close. So, you know, as the middle fingers of your hands are. So the thumb is usually very big, the pinky is usually pretty small, and then everything else is kind of pretty similar. So like I said, for me, my first finger and my ring finger are very close to identical. And I've, you know, mixed up strips before and put the wrong strip on the wrong finger and still didn't have a problem. So they're very, very close. My middle finger is wider, but not that much wider. Like I can get by with almost any of those 4 middle strips on any of these 3 fingers. I know I've said it. I know I'm repeating things from earlier videos too, but if you haven't seen my other videos, you're not going to know. Anytime you run across something like, you know, my thumb, where I know that this one fits my thumb, this one is too wide for my thumb, and this one is too narrow for my thumb, you want to go with that wider strip. You want to go with the one that is too big because you can trim it down, but something that isn't big enough, it's going to leave space along the edge. So you can pull these a little bit. So if you have something that's a little too narrow, you can stretch it a little. I can't stretch that second strip enough though to be wide enough for my thumb. But again, you can go the wrong way. You can take a vertical strip and go horizontal across your finger. You don't have to follow the direction that the strip, or the verticality of the strip, if it's you know, depending on the design, of course, you can use the strip the wrong way. You can use it sideways, you can use it diagonally, you can mix these, you can cut them, you can punch them with craft punches, and use just pieces of them. You don't have to cover a nail with a strip, and you don't have to have the right size strip. You just have to make sure whatever you're using is wide enough. That's it. And again, like if, you know, if I had just made a mess and kind of torn off a piece here that pulled too far back and got a jagged edge and stuff, I could get a little piece from the tip of one of these that I had filed off and stick that into that little space if, you know, I created a chip or something. And then when you seal it with the alcohol pad, the two will kind of bond. And you'll still be able to feel it. You'll know that there's, and even here, you know, I can feel this. I can tell that there's a little bit of a tiny ridge where the strip underneath, you know, can be felt by even through the thick strip, glitter strip that's on top of it. But it's very, very subtle. It's very minor. All right, there we go. Got those guys done. I just love how silvery these are. They're so pretty. So this, again, was 2 different sets, all kinds of different nails, but it is the same. And when I get completed here, what I will do is make sure everything extra is back in its correct package, which should only be 1 more thumb. And then I will seal those. So actually, I'll do this right now while I'm finishing my last 2 nails. This is my flat iron. It's nothing fancy, and you don't even need one this big. A little gunk on there. But I use this for a lot of different craft projects and stuff. It's a great iron for small things, especially if you're sewing, you know. It makes a great little iron. I heat this to 370 degrees, so I'll just turn that on. and let that heat up while I'm finishing my last nail. It was like an Amazon purchase. I think it was under 20 bucks. It might have even been under 15 bucks. You can pick one up, or you can use the one you used for your hair. You just want to make sure it's clean. If you use, oils or gel or anything in your hair and then you flat iron it, you may end up with some junk on your iron. But whatever, so that's why I have one, just for projects. So since this strip I know is too wide, I'm going to stick it down. I'm going to try to line up one edge, and then I'll just have this one edge be a little bit too wide. So this edge is really pretty close. I can probably squish all that down with the tool, and then this edge is a little bit too wide, but that's okay. We're going to trim it. So, and you can see I'm leaving this little tab on the end. Oh, don't fold. The silver tab on the end until I'm ready to pull it off. And that just gives you kind of something else to hang on to. This did just stretch while I was trying to pull off that tab. So I know that this is likely going to fit because my thumb is so tiny. This poor guy broke this week. But totally long enough though. I didn't do quite a great job of lining up the sides, but I wanted to make sure I got the end. So, yep, with some despair. So I know, because I am talking and showing and telling, it does take about an hour at least to do a set of nails. If I'm just by myself and I'm going through this, it still takes about an hour. So I know that is definitely longer than it takes to paint your nails, but if you add in the drying time and the curing time, basically, or the amount of time that you really won't be able to use your hands because the polish is so fresh. I think it's definitely comparable, and I think it's definitely comparable, because if you were doing your nails, you would have a base coat, one or two coats, a top coat with drying time in between, and I think that can definitely add up to an hour quite easily. Plus, if you're doing something that was more decorative, that's obviously going to take a lot more time too. So I do know that this is sort of a slow process and it's very meticulous, but it's not necessarily a longer process. So, and I just, I'm so over nail polish because it didn't really matter what I did. Within a couple of days, because my nails are oily, the oils would kind of make the nail polish chip and look bad within days. And this, even as hard as I am on my nails, this could be 2 weeks. It's definitely going to be a week. That's definitely 100%. Even if it's just a single application, I don't have an overlay, I've got a good week of decent looking nails. Stretching it into 2 weeks is nice if I can. This one I know I will be able to, because the polish is very light. If you have a dark color, black, or something really dark, when they start to chip, you're obviously going to see lighter nail underneath. So these will chip eventually, and it's nail polish. It'll do what nail polish does. But because I think it's so thick, it just seems to last so much longer, especially because, like I said, I'm very hard on my nails. And I break them all the time. And I also use acetone nail polish remover. And I know that weakens the nail a bit. If I keep them polished, it's not a problem. But yeah, if you grab something in the garage the wrong way or whatever, it's going to cause your nail to break. All right, just finishing up the last side here of the last nail. Get this clean to edge. Yeah, this one broke back really far. Poor nail. But even in its stubbiness and shortness, and you can see my tip of my thumb over the nail. I mean, it really broke back pretty far. You know, it still looks pretty. So there we go. Accent nail and all. I like these. They're very pretty. So you can see it's a little bit of a different take on a French manicure. You can see even my nails that I got kind of crooked and funky. They still look great. So let's seal up these quick packages real quick. And then I will hit them with the alcohol and be done. Okay. So, and the nice thing about these two is they always are labeled Home Sleet Home. What's this set? So I'm going to come in here with my flat iron and just hit like the last 1/4 inch of this package for 1 second to seal it. And all that does is fuse that edge together so it is airtight now. You want to reseal these as soon as you're done, completely done. You know, as soon as you know that you don't need anything else from these packages, your nails are done, go ahead and seal all your packages, and that will help them. Obviously, like this, I'm going to open this again, I'm going to use this again, so I will be able to get into that, and everything will be sealed. So that's when I trimmed it off, I trimmed off the tiniest little edge here, and then stiff everything back in, and then just only seal a little bit. I may open this package 3 or 4 more times, or more, who knows. So I want to leave as much package as possible. And here's the end of all those little tips. Let's get that in the iron for about 1 second. I'm going to do a tiny bit more. That's a little short. Okay. That's all you need to do. Just make sure you fuse that edge down. And that's all that I had open, because these two are empty now. And these two didn't get open because they're just the overlays. So that's it on those. Okay, so last step. Sealing down your nails. Getting that squeak going. It also seems to brighten them up. You know, if you have a clear overlay or a clear glitter, hitting them with the alcohol sort of saturates that strip, and it almost makes it more sheer. So if you do have glitter, it's like you can see the glitter even better after you hit it with the alcohol. So this is getting a little dry. Let me see where I've got more pads. Hold on, I'm gonna grab one more pad out of my box here. There we go. I'll start on this end and mark towards the other direction. So I think for this set, I'll keep this on for a couple weeks. The next set I want to do, and I'll grab those real quick. I'm really inspired by the little nail tapes. They're not part of Color Street. They're, you know, you can find them on Amazon. You can find them anywhere, eBay or whatever. They're really interesting. Let me grab those here. Let's grab a couple here. So you may have seen these before. They are just these little little strips. These are all the lasery, glittery ones. I have solids. I have some different ones. So I just, you know, people will use one of these little strips of tape and they'll make like stripes across their nails or different things. So I'm really interested in these. I want to try, you know, some applications that are different, you know, keep pushing the envelope. So yeah, you can see how narrow these are, and they come in, I think it was like $6 or something like that on Amazon for all of these. So they come in the full rainbow. They are lasery, glittery, striped, and then solid mylar. So the silvers and golds and some of these on the ends here. I'm very interested to just play with these a little bit. So they're just narrow as can be, and you've probably seen something. But I think it'd be fun to play around with these a little bit. So I want to try that maybe the next video. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you are inspired and you'll continue to get out and try some different things, purchase some nails. I will leave all of the names of the sets that I mentioned, and all of the anything else, the tools, anything else I've used, I will definitely put in the notes, so you can definitely see, you know, or you can be inspired to try this. Also, the link to my Instagram will be in there, and I should put some links to the Pinterest boards I follow. But pretty much if you just look around the internet, you'll be able to find whatever you want. So have fun with that, and good luck. Thanks.